This is your boy Knee to the Face. I'm back at it on YouTube. Today is potential cut day, or cut day in itself, to get into the 53-man roster. That means open opportunities not only to cut the players that are not so good on your team, but also to pick up players that will fit with your team. But right now, we've gone through 2 cuts already. I'm trying to do this as close as I possibly can to try to stay current with you guys. The first 2 guys that I've seen so far, I don't know right now. It is about, 3 o'clock right now, Eastern time. So I've seen Isaiah Johnson got cut. He didn't show a lot in the offseason. I don't think Gruden really was fond of him to begin with. If you watch the Chargers game where he had that good game, he didn't seem too pleased with it regardless of the scenario. And then missing a lot of time this offseason, bringing in the cornerbacks that we did and the other help. I saw him as expendable with Keelan Doss. Keelan Doss is another name that got cut. He could hit the practice squad. I felt like they really loved Dylan Stoner. I don't see why we paid him so much money to stay around. There's other wide receivers. I guess he just didn't flash the way that we thought he was going to flash. So therefore, he's cut. He might make the practice squad, or he might not. But in reality is, you just don't need him anymore. He's not a good fit. I don't see him on special teams. He's not returning punts, he's not returning kicks, he's not covering them either. So therefore, these 2 are not big, shocking names that were cut. So therefore, I'm going to move on to the other guys that should be cut. I'm going to go through a couple of names, no in particular order, but possible cuts. They are cuts, just possible cuts, and then should be cuts. And then I'll later on in the day discuss the actual cuts that happen at 4 o'clock. Like I said, we're running down to the wire because I have to do some editing after this. So therefore, yeah, let's get started. So the potential cuts, one of them, and we all can agree on this, is Nevin Lawson. Nevin Lawson, he's overall bad. He sucks. He shouldn't play the slot cornerback. He shouldn't even play cornerback. I still, in his 6 to 7 years of being a cornerback, still hasn't gotten an interception. We have other guys on the team currently are way better than him. Don't see a point to him. Don't need him. The only way he'll stick around is that Gruden or whoever. I'm glad that Gus Bradley's around. I'm glad that Miles is around to tell Gruden that this guy isn't really that good, is not suited. But sometimes they can get delusional and think Nevin Lawson can still play slot cornerback. I don't care what cornerback you put him at, he's still not good. He needs to go. Everyone's in agreement of this. No one's defended him. He is the modern day Reggie Nelson, so he definitely needs to go. That's my number 1 person that needs to get out. So Belied Welsden, I don't even know who that is. He's going to be cut, believe me, unless he's going to make special teams or practice squad, which I doubt. Gurry Green, he might make practice squad. We haven't seen much of him. In my opinion, Carl Nassib needs to go. He hasn't shown too much. I've seen a lot of bashing of Cleve Farrell and about how he needs to be traded. And in those highlights, there usually, or not lowlights, there usually is Carl Nassib on the other side, not doing much, getting eaten up left and right. He's not even a good, rotational player at this point. I don't care about his off the field. He's not good he's not, whatever he's getting paid a good amount of money. He's not really worth it, to be honest. And he's not changing this team at all. We just need to cut our ties with him and send him off somewhere else so we can actually have a roster space. But if they should cut him, but I believe they will keep him. But if they do keep Carl Nassib, they'll definitely get rid of Vickers. Vickers, in my mind, is a better rotational player than Carl Nassib. But that's my opinion. It is what it is. Matt Dickerson, yeah, he hasn't shown anything. And Niall Scott would be another guy that they would need to cut. Max Richardson, Asmar Bala, and more interesting names. Now, B.J. Emmons, Ragas, or ever how you ever say it, Ragas, he showed that he can be that number 3 running back, maybe potentially number 2 if it wasn't Drake before you, but definitely he is a guy that you want to keep around. And B.J. Emmons is not a guy that you want to be in his way. B.J. Emmons is okay, but he wasn't going to take Jalen Richard's spot. And that goes on to my next name. Jalen Richard hasn't shown us that much. He's been with the team forever now, it feels like. But, I mean, he's doing okay. But, you know, special teams, you think he'd be more explosive. Haven't seen that. Out of the backfield, first contact, that guy's down. I think it's time to move on. Let the young guy shine, Ragas, and let him do his thing. Stop worrying about the pass. Just move on. We did that with Washington. Now it's Richard's turn. You need to move on with this guy because he is what he is, and he's gone through several different coaches, and he is what he is. So let's just move on from him and keep Ragas as the 3rd running back and move on from that. The other names, Dylan Levitt. He's suspect every time he's out on the field. He was on the field last year when we were thin at the safety position. Now that we do have safeties, even rookies, those rookies are better than him. He's a good special teams player. That's the only way I see him making this team, is that he's a good special teams player. But he shouldn't be on an NFL field on a defense. He shouldn't be doing that at all. We all know that. And there's a couple other guys. We have quite a few tight ends that we could all pretty much see going, but I see them getting rid of Bushman, Ellis, and Carrier for sure. Carrier, he is splashy, but I think they like the new guy from Penn State a lot. So I think they might go with, obviously, the guys that we have, Foster Monroe, and then we have Waller, duh. But we have Darren Waller as well, so we don't quite need all those damn tight ends unless Gruden loses his mind once again, but you never know. But in reality, all we really need is 3 tight ends, to be honest. So DJ Turner is another name that I want to discuss. He is very high on from Pitt. Everyone was very high on, flashed a little bit. I think they might keep him for a practice squad player, but staying with the team, I don't see them actually particularly keeping him. So DJ Turner, unfortunately, you might be hitting the practice squad pretty soon here. Surprise cuts, I'm kind of leaning on what I've been seeing and what I've been feeling. And the surprise cut that I think, in few of them, one you probably already know from this discussion, but the other is John Brown. John Brown hasn't shown anything throughout the whole training camp. I don't know if he's been healthy or injured. It's not in their liberties to actually even talk about that during preseason. They don't have to. So the comparison of this is our new Nelson Aguilar, I don't see it. Haven't heard any players talking about him and his progression. All I heard was his new nickname is Smoke. That's the only thing I've heard about John Brown. So that's kind of it's kind of leading me to believe that they're going to go a different direction and keep Zay Jones, keep the other guys, and move away from John Brown, cut their losses with him. I think he's on a 1-year contract anyway, so I mean, it is what it is. You just got to get rid of these certain guys. Maybe they'll use him as special teams. But my other guy is a surprise cut was Jalen Richard. He's okay, but say if Jacobs goes down and all we have is Drake. Say if Jacobs goes down and all we have is Drake, who's going to back up Drake? Jalen Richard can't consistently run the ball. Nobody's afraid of him running the ball. They all know he's going to be catching the ball from, whatever, the backfield. He's gonna line up as a wide receiver, or he's gonna be catching the ball out of the backfield. They're not worried about him being a running back. That's not good to have. You want dual threats, not guys automatically are gonna be running the ball or catching the ball. So that's my thoughts on that. The offensive line, the only comment that I have or or comments is two things. Nick Martin must get the fuck off the team. He is absolutely terrible at center. And then when these cuts do happen on other teams, we got to be definitely looking for a guard. I'm not saying our guards are terrible. Richie Incognito is good, but he's getting older. He might get injured, and there's definitely not a backup for him. The other side is kind of sketchy. I mean, they seem very confident about their offensive line. I'm not very confident about their offensive line. But I foresee the Raiders picking up another offensive lineman for sure once the dust settles. It's supposed to hit around 4 o'clock when everyone starts to get cut. But the dust settles, they're going to want to get whoever they want in as soon as possible so they learn the playbook, yada, yada, yada. The other thing is linebacker. When those cuts happen for other teams, I've heard names, Jalen Smith and stuff like that. That's a lot of hype. I would love to see that, but I don't see it happening. But you never know. But if it does happen, that's tremendous news. But that's on another rumor mill stuff. This is the potential cuts and stuff like that. That's everything for right now. It's currently 3:12 p.m. I'm going to edit this video, send it out to you, and then wait for the actual 53-man roster to reveal and my reactions. That should be a little bit shorter than this. So let me know how you like this video. Let me know who you think should be cut. Let me know, if we should trade for someone or anything like that. But more importantly, like and subscribe, and catch you later next video. I'm out.